With graphics cards coming into stock and prices going down towards MSRP, it's time to start building gaming PCs again. I've got 3 amazing builds for you. The first is an $850 1440p budget gaming PC where the performance will surprise you. We've got a $1,400 absolute destroyer with a higher end graphics card and higher end CPU as well. And we've got a $1,900 gaming PC with an X3D CPU and high end GPU for 4K or super high FPS 1440p. If you get value out of this video, please give it a like, it makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. All right, before we jump into the builds, let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? Honestly, if you're in the US, I think it makes a lot of sense to buy now. Why is that? Well, we have tariffs, but they haven't fully hit the US just yet. Remember, it takes a while for things to get shipped from China all the way here. And anything shipped before the tariffs went into effect are still not going to be tariffed when they come here to the US. But anything that hits after that will be. A lot of retailers actually stocked up anticipating this. There's a lot of stock of pre-tariff stuff that you can still buy. Now, semiconductors have supposedly been exempted on this, and that's like GPUs and CPUs. But a lot of things that you do need to buy, for instance, you do need to buy a PC case. Companies like Height have already kind of opted out of the US market. Gamers Nexus, by the way, did an excellent video about this. We'll leave it linked down in the video description. All in all, if you're in the United States, it's a good time to buy now, especially with some super deals right now that we'll go through. Let's jump into that $850 1440p gaming PC build. Can you believe that we can do this in 2025, given the GPU shortages that we went through, given all the crazy trade wars that are going on right now? And some of these parts, I will tell you, particularly things that are not semiconductors like PC cases, will be subject to huge tariffs soon. And there's stuff that's in stock right now that may not be able to be replenished. So this might be a great time to buy. But let's punch through this. You can get good 60 FPS average across a wide range of titles at ultra details. Obviously, games like CS2, games like Valorant, you're going to get way more FPS in those competitive shooters out there. And what GPU are we looking for here? The Arc B580, finally in stock. There's 2 different models, Onyx Odyssey at Newegg, $299 for the black version, and then $309, like $10 more for the all-white version of the same GPU. Other than that, what kind of FPS should you be expecting from this GPU? Well, let's take a look at the Techpowerup Arc B580 review. And I know some people are already typing in the comments, oh, it's got big CPU overhead issues. Yes, don't worry. We've taken care of that in the CPU. And if you act quickly enough on this, you will get a free game for buying that CPU. We'll jump into that in just a second. But you can see 61 average FPS here across a wide range of titles at ultra details. Ultra details 1440p. Again, turn it down to high for a better playable experience. This is what it looks like across those wide range of games. You can hit pause here, but obviously if you're playing Counter-Strike 2, you're going to get a lot more FPS, even at 1440p Ultra, which you normally turn that down to competitive settings, than you will on Hogwarts Legacy, but you'll get about a 60 FPS average experience across a wide range of titles. Moving on to the CPU platform, we want a strong CPU with this GPU, and we got one. We got the Ryzen 9600X. Look at that, $185. And if you buy it before or even on May 10th, you will get Monster Hunter Wilds for free. That's a $60 value. That makes this a $125 CPU. It's insane. The Ryzen 7600X, maybe if in your market you can't get the 9600X for that price, the 7600X would also be absolutely fine. And initially that's what I was going to pick for it until I saw the stupid sale, the crazy super sale that's going on the 9600X. So 2 thumbs up there. This is going to be a really strong CPU. It's basically as strong as the 7700X in terms of its gaming performance, about 5% faster than the 7600X with a high-end GPU. Don't really need to worry about that with the Arc B580, but plenty of CPU for what we're looking for. And you're going to get that future upgradability of the AM5 platform. 2 thumbs up there. I absolutely hope this price sticks around. And it is possible that AMD will extend the Monster Hunter Wilds game bundle with these CPUs as well, but you never know. Double check before you buy it. For the cooler, we just need a budget tower air cooler. I went with the id Cooling SE214XT. I absolutely love these coolers. I use them a lot, but of course there's tons of really good coolers out there. One cooler I really like that Thermaltake has now is the digital Thermaltake Assassin. It's got a digital readout on the top. It's only $25. I didn't go with it in this build. I wanted to hit that $850 price point. But if you're looking to add some coolness to your PC build, that's another good one to pick up. For the motherboard, we're just going cheap here. There's a lot of different boards. If you want to spend another 20 bucks, you could go with the Asus TUF B650 M-E. That's another good board. You can go with the ASRock Pro RS board. I went cheap on this one. I went with the B650 MPG Lightning Wi-Fi 6E. Comes with Wi-Fi on it, very similar to the B850M-X that I was recommending. Completely sold out everywhere right now. Maybe that'll come back into stock. If it does, that's another good board to get, but it's basically the same motherboard. The VRMs on this are fine, and for a 9800 X3D or 1100 X3D, whatever AMD calls Zen 6 X3D, will also be fine for that CPU. So you don't have to worry about future upgradability. I just would not put a Ryzen 9 CPU on it, either now or in the future. Otherwise, absolutely great motherboard. 4 high-speed USB ports and 4 lower-speed USB 2.0 ports, 3 M.2 slots. One of those is only half bandwidth, but honestly, for 120 bucks, what do you want? For the RAM, we're going DDR5 6000 CL30. I feel like a broken record. Ryzen RAM, DDR5 6000 CL30. Don't bother getting faster RAM than this. $85 for the Patriot Viper Venom kit. This is a nice, super metallic, cool looking kit. Now, for about $10 more, if you want RGB, you can get RGB. Again, I'm trying to hit that $850 price point, make it all nice and neat. But if you wanted to go like to $900, again, you could spend a little bit more on the motherboard. You could spend a little bit more on the cooler. You could spend a little bit more on RGB RAM. But this is really all you need. For the drive, I'm just going super cheap budget, 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. Clevcraft C910 is a good drive, 1 terabyte. Check out our best SSD for gaming 2025 guide. We go through a number of different drives right now. It is a little tough right now, especially with, semiconductors. Maybe they're going to be affected by tariffs. Maybe they're not going to be. A lot of uncertainty. So there's pricings all over the place. I have seen SSD pricing go up almost $10 since April 2nd. So just kind of buckle up there. I would go ahead and buy the cheapest NVMe SSD for a budget build like this. It's 1 terabyte. There's a cool new case out there called the Thermaltake Versa H16 TG ARGB. I like this a lot. $54. I like that a lot. Man, Thermaltake has really figured out how to get these cases nice and cheap. They did this with the View 170. Unfortunately, that thing is out of stock right now. It's the Micro ATX Atrium style case. But look at this. This is a nice, slick looking case. Got really nice, clean lines to it. There is also a white version of this if you want to go all white instead. 3 included ARGB8 fans for just $54. But I will say, this is not a semiconductor, so this is not subject to the exclusions that were mentioned before for like GPUs and CPUs and motherboards. This is the kind of stuff that once they run out of the pre-tariff stuff that's in stock, the prices might go up quite a bit. Finally, for the PSU, right now, Newegg's got a great PSU on sale. That is the MSI Mag A550BN. This build doesn't really need any more than 550 watts. If you want to spend a little bit more money, get a bigger PSU, maybe thinking towards future upgradability in the GPU or something like that, you certainly can. But with a $10 rebate and a $10 promo code on this right now, this kind of deal is really hard to turn down. It's a C-tier rated PSU on the SPL PSU tier list, so 2 thumbs up. All told, for $857.93, you're going to get a very strong 1440p gaming PC build. If you want to spend more like $900, you could, of course, spend another $20 and get a higher-end motherboard. You could get RGB on the RAM. You could get a cooler with the digital thing that we were talking about before. You could get a higher-end PSU as well. So you can add all that in if you want for about $900. But honestly, I think it's super strong, and it's going to give you that future upgradability as well. All right, let's jump into that $1,400 gaming PC build for 1440p. Now, you could take the $850 build and just upgrade the GPU, even to this GPU if you wanted. However, I decided to upgrade the entire PC platform on this instead. You are also going to get, if you do this by May 10th, you're going to get 2 free games with this. And even if you miss that first free game by May 10th, if you do it by May 21st, you're going to get 1 free game. So let's start off where else the GPU, and we'll talk about one of those free games here. I went with the RTX 5070 12GB for $609 right now. The RTX 5070, 5070 Ti, the 50 series is finally coming into stock. It's been a while, but they are finally coming into stock. I'm not sure how long that's going to last for, given the situation unfolding in the US. It's very likely that the stock that we're seeing now, basically shipped about 6 weeks ago, which is before all the craziness started. So just fingers crossed that they will not interrupt the shipments, because we have seen prices start to come down. Check out our best GPU in May 2025 video, which we just launched earlier this week, for kind of the full breakdown on what you can expect. The reason I'm going here with the RTX 5070 is, number one, the 9070s not really in stock. Unfortunately, some of the models that we had highlighted in that video have sold out, although that could change. More 9070s could come in stock. The other reason is you get Doom: The Dark Ages with a purchase here, which is a great game, for $70. $70 value. If you do the math here, this makes a lot of sense. And it's basically the same price as the 5060 Ti 16GB, because you do not get the game with that. It has to be a 5070 or higher. So this makes a lot of sense right now. For $600, $609, basically the same price as the RTX 4070 Super was, and as we'll see in a moment, it is slightly faster than the 4070 Super. In fact, if we look at the Techpowerup RTX 5070 Founders Edition review out there, this is an aftermarket version, I think probably is slightly higher FPS, but it's basically an RTX 4070 Ti, 12GB version out there. And you're getting that for about $600. It's a little faster than the RTX 4070. It's basically on par, just slightly faster than the RTX 3090. So if you think about that, you're getting a GPU that's faster than the 3090. Yes, less VRAM, 12 gigs of VRAM. I wish it had 16 out there. And you could, of course, consider the 9070 if it does come into stock or if it's in stock in your region. If you want to see how it fared across all the various games, you can just hit pause right here and take a look. But basically, again, this is a wide range of games at ultra settings at 1440p. If you turn this down to high, you're going to get a lot more frames. And obviously, if you're going to play something like a competitive shooter like Counter-Strike 2, you're going to get almost 300 FPS, which is pretty crazy. Let's run through the rest of the platform. You certainly could stick with the 9600X that we used in the previous build on this. I decided to up the CPU power a little bit here and go with the Ryzen 9700X. Once again, if you buy this by May 10th or even on May 10th, you will get Monster Hunter Wilds for free, $70 value. And of course, you'll also get the game with the GPU if you buy it by then as well. So you got 2 free games with this platform. Insane. 9700X, super powerful gaming CPU down to $285. That's why I picked it up right now. Again, 9600X would probably be fine too if you want to save about $100. For the CPU cooler, I'm super excited about the Peerless Assassin 120 Digital. Now there's also a single tower version of this you can get for $25, but not only do you get a super high powered CPU cooler, but it's got all that cool digital stuff on it. In terms of your CPU and GPU temps and your utilization, it's ARGB, it's going to look great, and it's going to perform amazing for just $46. This is also a good candidate, by the way, for a 360mm or 240mm AIO if you want to go AIO instead. For the motherboard, I'm super excited about the ASRock B850 Pro-A. Now, I will say, if you want the Wi-Fi version of this, spend $10 more and get the Wi-Fi. In fact, I probably would spend the $10 because you also get the Bluetooth on it. But right now, the price is fantastic. When these boards were originally introduced, they were overpriced, but the prices have been trickling down, and I absolutely love it right now. It's got 3 M.2s. All of them are full bandwidth, by the way. None of this half bandwidth stuff anymore, which is great. And then it's got 6 high-speed USB ports, including 2 Type-Cs. 2 Type-Cs, that's insane. And then it's got 6 USB 2.0 ports like mice, keyboards, slower devices like that. It looks great. It's got that nice matte black styling to it. $149, it's a steal. For the RAM, I just went with DDR5 6000 CL30. I know I sound like a broken record. You could spend another $30 here and pick up a CL28 kit instead. Will it make that big a difference with an RTX 5070? Probably not. Probably not, but you could if you want, if you just feel like you want to spend more money. $93, you're going to get a great ARGB kit. I've used tons of these kits, the T-Force Delta, 2 thumbs up. If you don't like this kit, there's plenty of other out there by Silicon Power, Corsair, and others, all within about $10 of each other. Just feel free to grab the one that you like. For the drive, not to be a broken record, the Clevcraft C910, just a great 1TB NVMe SSD out there. You could consider Silicon Power UD90. That's a drive that we've used in the past a lot. If you want a DRAM drive, you could look at the Crass C930 out there as well. It's about $20 more if you want something a little bit snappier. I went this route. If you want 2 terabytes, by the way, get a 2 terabyte drive, not 2 1 terabyte drives, because you do get a price discount and it's not 2015 anymore. You don't need separate boot drives. These are very, very fast drives. A single high capacity drive, 2 thumbs up. For the case, this is actually not in PC Part Picker, so I just picked another Samma case, but the Samma NewView 4361 is a great case, very similar to the Montech XR, which is one of my favorite PC cases, and I don't understand why Montech can't get that thing back into stock. Maybe the demand is just so high for it. So this is their version of it. Looks great. It's got 3 included ARGB fans. The 2 fans on the side are actually reversed blade, so that's why they face inwards and they blow inwards. So that's actually intake, even though they look like exhaust there. The fan on the back is exhaust. It's an absolute dream to build in compared to a lot of other cases. It does not support the rear connector motherboards, but we're not using rear connector motherboards. That's not really that big a deal. Overall, looks really, really nice. It also comes in white for just a little bit more. For the power supply, I went with the XPG Core Reactor 2 VE 650 watt. This is one we recommended, our best PSU 2025 guide. Listen, ADATA is absolutely killing it with their XPG Core Reactor 2 VE series. The VE is important because those are the ATX 3.1 revision here. I went 650 watts because you really don't need that much power. with the CPU and with this GPU. If you want to go 750 watts, it's only $10 more right now, so you might consider that. Just remember to get the VE version for the ATX 3.1. That means the 12 volt 2x6 connectors on the PSU as well as the GPU that we're buying, and that'll just help prevent any of that kind of melting cable stuff. All told, for just under $1,400, man, you're getting an amazing gaming PC capable of playing all the latest titles, super high frame rates at 1440p, basically 4070 Ti levels of performance out there. It's going to look amazing too. We went with matte black styling, but all of these parts except the motherboard also come in white, by the way. So you could do an all white build if you want to do that instead. You're going to get a great future upgradability. We're going to get that cool digital readout on our cooler as well. I absolutely love this, including 2 free games if you act by May 10th and 1 free game if you act at least by May 21st for just $1,400. Let's jump into that $1,900 1440p super high FPS or 4K gaming destroyer out there. And this involves parts that you can buy right now, at least at the time of filming for everything. Now, originally it was going to base this on the 9070 XT with great combos at Newegg that we highlighted in our best GPU for May 2025 video. Unfortunately, those all sold out. But here's another great deal right now, which is based on the RTX 5070 Ti. So let's jump into that GPU. Now, there's a couple different models that are available at Newegg right now. The MSI Shadow RTX 5070 Ti, this is the OC version, so it has a very mild overclock on it. And it looks super nice. I think this looks great. For $839, that is not that far. It's only $90 over the MSRP. And this is typically not an MSRP model. So this is pretty decent pricing. The other thing is right now you get Doom: The Dark Ages if you buy this. And that is a $70 value for that game as well. So by the time you add all this up, it's almost at MSRP right now. Now, I will say, we've seen these GPUs sell out pretty quickly. Every time I highlight one of these deals, they sell out pretty quickly. So if you can't get this one, there is another one right now, the MSI Ventus for $899. There's a couple other models for $899. And of course, you do get Doom: The Dark Ages with it as well. What kind of FPS can you expect? Well, this is the RX 9070 XT review because I wanted to show them side by side. So you can see the 5070 Ti slightly ahead at 1440p. This is across a, I think, 23 game average at ultra details at 1440p. Remember, I recommend you game it high, not ultra. Use ultra for screenshots, but this gives you some sense of where you're going to be. 141 basically FPS with the RTX 5070 Ti, slightly ahead of the RX 9070 XT. Either one of those is great GPUs. And if 9070 XT combo deals come back in stock, I will leave the link down in the video description. You can certainly do it with that as well. If you're interested for how the 5070 Ti performs across a wide range of games, you can see it right here. Obviously, competitive shooters like Counter-Strike 2, even at ultra details, that's normally a game you turn down to like basic or competitive details, 360 average FPS of 1440p. That's at ultra details. That's pretty insane. And then, of course, other games out there as well. More single-player titles, obviously, you're going to be slightly below that, but it's still well above 100 FPS and a lot of titles. Jumping into the rest of the build, I just couldn't help myself. I went with a Ryzen 7800 X3D because it's $391 right now. It's an insane value. It's only a little bit slower than 9800 X3D, and right now, it's really tough to get the 9800 X3D in the US. I don't know why that is, but we've seen the price of the 7800 X3D fall from like $480 all the way down to $391. I definitely think it's worth picking up. Now, of course, you could go with the 9700X using the previous build. You could even go with the 9600X if you want to save money, but I figured let's just go max CPU performance on this one. This is all you're going to need to get the most out of your 5070 Ti. Trust me, you don't need a 9000 X3D on it. And for $391, it's at the right price. For the motherboard, I went with the Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi. This has been my top value premium gaming motherboard out there in 2025. Now, I will say the price has come up $10 in the last month or so, but motherboard prices have come up about $10 in the last month. We all know why that is. We don't have to get into the trade war stuff. If you want a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, which you absolutely do not need unless you're planning on one day buying an RTX 7090 or something like that, then go ahead and get a B850. They're running about $30 to $40 more, unless you want one of the ASRock boards. Those are fine as well for about another $10 or $15. I like this board, upgraded ALC 1200 audio on it. It's got 3 full bandwidth M.2s, all of them with heat spreaders, has pretty good rear panel USB connectivity. It's got the 4 high-speed USB ports, but it has 2 Type-Cs on it, and it has 4 USB 2.0 ports on it. Got that nice black styling on it. I do like the B850 Plus Wi-Fi a little bit better in terms of the block styling, and we did use that in our 9800 X3D build guide recently, but this is also very, very good. And $179, it's a tough price to beat. For the cooler, I went with the id Cooling FX360 Infinity Mirror. Now, comes in black, comes in white, also comes in white with pink, which is kind of cool as well if you want to mix it up. This is a pretty good performance cooler. We used it in a live stream build for members recently. We actually used the all white one we got for $80, $79 for a 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler that, by the way, comes fully assembled. You don't have to put the fans on, comes pre-wired. It is super easy to install. It was a little hard to get the screws seated for the pump head, but once you did that, the rest of it was super, super easy. So absolutely love it at $80. For the RAM, I feel like a broken record, DDR5, 6000 CL30. And honestly, for the X3D CPUs, there's even less reason to go to faster RAM like the 6000 CL28 or even 6000 CL26, stuff that just came out that's kind of crazy expensive right now, because the X3D CPUs just don't care as much about RAM speed as the non-X3D CPUs. Extra V-cache, I should say, on it really does makes up the difference there. So just save your money, spend it somewhere else, get that B850 motherboard if that's what you want instead. Pick this up for $92 instead. For the drive, I decided to go with something with DRAM. Now, this is the Clevcraft C930 2TB. Definitely get a discount when you go to 2 terabytes over 1 terabyte, and it's got a DRAM cache. It has the optional aluminum heatsink. You don't need that. That's like if you're doing PS5, or if you have a motherboard that doesn't have its own heatsink over the top. We're going to use the included motherboard ones instead. $125 for a drive with DRAM is pretty good. For the case, I just decided to go with something kind of a little bit different. I went with the Sama SV01. Now, this case is very much like the Antec C3 and C5 cases. We've used those in previous builds. We really did like them, but they're quite a bit more expensive. They're like basically $50 more expensive. So I went with this. This comes with 4 ARGB fans. It's going to have plenty of room for a 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler. It looks amazing, and it's relatively easy to build in for just $80. For the PSU, I went with the Vetru G5 850 watt PSU. This is an A tier rated PSU on the SPL PSU tier list, so 2 thumbs up there, and it's only $89. It's fully modular. It's an absolutely great PSU. I think the reason that the pricing is so low compared to everybody else is that Vetru's really just kind of trying to buy name recognition in the PSU space. So they're probably selling these for very, very little margin. If you want to do a white build, by the way, there's also an all white version of this for $89 with white cables. Totally insane value. So some of the prices changed. So all told, just under $1,900 US. You're going to get a gaming PC with an X3D CPU, pretty high-end RTX 5070 GPU with 16 gigs of VRAM to keep you relevant for the future, and of course DLSS 4. You're going to get 2 terabytes of NVMe space with DRAM, which is pretty insane. You're going to get a build that looks absolutely amazing and will carry you both now and into the future. Remember, everything is linked down in the video description. Check out those links for current pricing and availability in your region. And of course, if you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. And we'll catch you on the next one.